live, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry we're a few minutes late. I'm the reason why we're behind. But you're live here on our nice 5-star and primetime page. You're live with the I would say the best tearaway tandem because it was the only one, right? So here we're live with Greg Pruitt and Cleo Miller, good friends of mine. We're having a little Q&A today. Also, talking about they say, Greg, there's the new cardiac kids.
All right.
That we have. This team that we have now that's hotter than a firecracker. And how do you guys feel about when they say the new cardiac kids? I like it for the fact it brings back the cardiac kids, right?
Well, I now get it. I'd rather put the game away so we can go celebrate. I know it's exciting, but it becomes nerve-wracking to have to wait all the way to the end. And then you throw a couple of 4th and 4s on the way up. And you go for a first down, not take the field goal, all of that works on your nerves.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to be live. I'm going to be asking some questions. Matt will be asking some questions, and our bad news guy here will ask some questions. We also have, if anybody wants to purchase autographs, we're going to have autographs by Cleo Miller and Greg Pruitt. So we have the picture, the tearaway tandem. They're 16 by 20s. That all the proceeds, anybody buys one of those, it's gonna, that money's gonna go to Greg and Cleo. So we're gonna sell those for $40. I'm gonna go get one of those here momentarily and show you. But listen, if you have a question as we're talking, put it up in the stream.
Yep.
Let the narrators will ask the questions. But I want you guys to understand that this is a show that we're gonna start doing on a regular basis here. That following the Browns and how hot they are, and it also brings back some nostalgia. Brings back the guys that helped start it all. And, it was really cool. Did you notice how respectful Denzel Ward was whenever you came in?
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, you know what? Thank you guys because you guys paved the way for me to play football." That was respectful. You don't get that all the time with these new athletes these days because, egos are a lot different now than they were back then.
Well, the thing about it is when you look at it, each generation thanks the other generation before.
Yeah.
Because I was appreciative when I first came in the league because of Willie Lanier, Wendell Hayes, Willie Ellison, Buck Buchanan. All those guys took me up under their wings and they taught me and showed me what I needed to do to become a professional athlete. So I think, but I know when I came to the Browns, we also had that atmosphere where the alumni would come into the locker room and they were able to sit down and tell us and teach us and show us mistakes that we were making on the field. So it's that thing that you appreciate your predecessor, the one that was before you, in terms of what they've gone through and the past and that wisdom to you as well. So yes, it's a thing where we're respectful and hopefully that tradition will continue to go on. And so then when the defensive back, when Denzel gets older, and then the guys come in, they don't appreciate him just as much as he appreciates us.
No, that's definitely, it was just cool that day to see, Cleo was asking Denzel for an autograph for a family member and, and how he's like, "Hey, no, thank you," that type of thing. But Greg, you got to play, a long time with the Browns, but you also got to go on to the Raiders and win a Super Bowl ring.
That's right.
So now that we're talking about the Super Bowl, maybe, Cleveland's never got to a Super Bowl.
Well,
never.
Now that you mentioned that, one thing that I do know that when I was with the Raiders, we got into the playoff as a wild card. And Well, in fact, well, not that year. When the Raiders came here, Red White '88, the Raiders were the first team as a wild card to go to the Super Bowl. So it can happen. And we were all talking a little earlier before we went on about who we would like the opponent to have been for the Browns. And I'm not as worried because to me the strength of the Browns have always been the defense. Now all of a sudden, one Mr. Flacco shows up, and now our offense is starting to produce. So we've been kind of unlucky. I've never been on a team where you lose the punter and the field goal kicker. How do you lose them two guys? They're not tackling nobody. But at one time we had best punter, best field goal kicker, and then you got the number one defense. Yeah. So that's why I always was frustrated when we talked earlier about 4th and 4, on the 40, or you inside the red zone, you can get a field goal, but you don't do it. When you got the best punter and you got the best number one defense, you take what you can get, and then you let the defense give you another opportunity to make up those points that way. But so far it's worked. But I hope it's not one of those stories where if you live by the sword, you die by it. So I'm happy to go to Houston. I was born in Houston, so my phone rang off the hook about what Houston was going to do to us. And so I look forward to us coming to Houston.
That's cool.
So bring on the Texans.
So let me ask you, so you say that, and here again, guys, listen, everybody that's watching right now, share us out. Let everybody know we're live talking Browns Roundtable. And if you want to ask something not a Browns question, an NFL question, share it. Ask us, put in your feed, but share it. Share us out so we can get everybody knowing that we're live with the, two of the Browns greats, two of the greatest guys ever played, for the Cleveland Browns. You know why I say two of the greatest? You can't find two better human beings, two better athletes that represents themselves on and off the field like these two guys do. And obviously, Cleo, you went to Kansas City. You played in another organization, and you played. A lot of people don't know Cleo's in the Hall of Fame. And Greg says, "How's he in the Hall of Fame?" He has a CFL. He has your jersey from USFL jersey that's in the Hall of Fame. How many years did you play in the USFL?
Actually, I played 2 years there. The first 2 years, we won the championship the first year that I was there.
Okay.
And so that championship jersey that I played within, I donated to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So that's one way to get it in there, right, Greg?
Any way you can get it in there.
Any way to get it in there. But, so going back to the organizations, was it totally different when you were with the Browns organization than you seen how the Raiders organization was? Completely different.
Completely different. Well, the Raiders only wanted, we call it Super Bowl, the dance. And all they wanted was an opportunity to go to the dance. If we could get in the dance, we could win the contest. And so a lot of teams worry about their record and was it playing at home or playing on the road. Raiders didn't care. They just wanted to get in. You can't win if you're at home, but you can win no matter how the odds are if you're in.
So I got to ask you a funny question. And I don't know if you've ever been, questioned this, but there's an image of you running in your number 34 jersey. Mm-hmm. And you look just like Bo Jackson with his jersey on. Right. And you and Bo Jackson was one of my favorite football players ever growing up, wearing this 34. Right. And did you ever look at those images of you guys running?
I have not. In fact, I will, though. I know you got pictures.
And if you Google, you and you start looking, I told Matt, let's go. And they're like, people think that's Bo Jackson. And I'm saying, it's just pretty unique, having Bo wear your number
Right.
after you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we wonder if anyone has ever put one of those photos down on Bo Jackson and just signed
And
it.
ask Bo Jackson to sign it.
But I tell you what, not Bo Jackson, but I do get cards to sign with Mike Pruitt.
Mike Pruitt.
Mike Pruitt card. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And you guys aren't related,
Not related.
but everybody thinks you guys are related because of the
I
last
got a
name.
stack of pictures of me and Mike Pruitt because everybody kept insisting that we were related. So we said, okay, we're gonna quit saying no, and we're gonna start saying yeah. As soon as we said yeah, I went to the Raiders and he went to Kansas City.
They separated the guys.
Right.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. But yeah, and I know off of the NFL, but there's a big playoff game tonight, college football. What do you guys take on that game tonight?
It's Washington and Michigan.
Yep.
Well, being close to Michigan, you kind of, if you're a Big Ten or whatever conference you're in, you kind of cheer for
Right.
that conference. And I guess being from Ohio, I don't have the same hatred for Michigan that a lot of people have, but I support the conference, so you want that conference to end up being national champion.
Yeah, because a lot of people that having a hard time around here with do you root for Michigan if you're a Buckeyes fan, stuff like that.
Right.
But you had a great college career as well. So, but yeah. So
But anyway,
taking Michigan.
so obviously, do we have any questions out there?
And we have any questions? Feel free to
Anybody
share.
has questions yet? So what we're gonna, so we have a big game this week coming up. We're going to Houston.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
My hometown.
So I have I'm doing a signing with the kicker on Thursday.
Okay.
Dustin Hopkins is coming in Thursday for a signing after practice. So
Well, can you ask him how do you pull a muscle?
well,
Chasing a guy you can't catch anyway. I mean, when did he realize you couldn't catch?
yeah, no, you're 100% correct with that. There's no doubt about that. So obviously, if we have any questions come through yet?
Not yet. Not
No,
yet. Share
no.
your questions with us.
So if you could share your, I've heard some crazy stories about, back in the day when you guys, was playing, and everybody has their own, but obviously there's two things in history that have killed Browns fans, and I don't know, have you guys ever gotten over the last game that you guys lost yet as a team? Have you physically got past the red, right 88, game? Or is it still haunts you still to this day? Because fans, it haunts us fans still to this day that we had the fumble, the drive, and let me tell you, the fumble, the drive was way worse than red, right 88.
Right.
Way worse. But we should have went to the Super Bowl with red, right 88.
But they have the similarity that both have is that the decisions on the defensive side of the ball and the decisions on the offensive ball that ended up being bad decisions that cost us those games. When you got, I think it was Minifield, Hanford Dixon, I think Felix Wright was back there. When you got a secondary like that against Denver, you don't pull them off the guy. You play prevent, and I say you are preventing yourself from winning. That's what you're doing. If you held them for 4 quarters to the last drive, why all of a sudden you scared that the guys can't defend them the rest of the game? If you have doubts as a coach, I'm gonna walk up to my player and say, listen, we can go, prevent, or we can stay what we're doing. What you guys want to do, and let them do what they want to do.
So have you guys? I gotta ask you, have you ever watched the ESPN
30 for 30.
30 for 30, where it came up with the number 22? Have you ever watched that? So if you watch this 30 for 30, it gives you the Cleveland history The Cleveland Curse of number 22. The number 22. You've got to watch it.
Really?
And right now, the Browns Delpit is not playing. He's number 22.
Oh,
And the best thing that can happen to us is Delpit does not come back.
right.
Because at number 22, not that we don't love Delpit,
Right.
that number 22, when you watch this 30 for 30 they did, all the way back to the Red Right 88,
Right. Right.
all the way back to with LeBron and everything in Cleveland, it put hair in your head. That's all. You got to watch this 30 for 30. Like literally, it's nuts.
Wasn't that exception to the rule? Because I think Clarence Scott wore 22, didn't he?
Well,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then he had a magnificent career.
I'm trying to think.
so
22.
but there's certain things that it'll put hair in your head when you watch this.
Well, the first incident I was saying was about the prevent defense, and now we go to the Red Right 88 and a decision to, well, we needed 3 points, but we went for 7. 4 points we didn't need that eventually cost us the game.
Yeah.
And that team that we should have beat went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Right. And it's strange about that play too, because I know I was standing on the sideline beside Sam, and he called me in to go in to block, because it was a running play call. And he called me in to go in and block for my crew.
Well, let me tell that story.
You tell it.
We had different packages, and we had what we call big backfield. Our big backfield was Cleo Miller and Mike Pruitt. We ran the ball up to that game 100% of the time when the big backfield was in. Leading up to that play, we ran a option play. It was, I forget what it was called, but it was an option to me. I called a flag route, and I took it to the 15-yard line, way inside of field goal range. We didn't need nothing but a field goal to win the game. And at that point, to me, you would run the clock, run it all the way down, kick the field goal, and go to the next playoff game. But now when I came off the field and Cleo and Mike came in, I just knew automatic that was the big backfield. Don Cockcroft, if you remember, had missed 2 field goals in that game. So for me, I've never seen him miss 3. We don't need 7 points. We need 3 points, a field goal. So
you need less.
I don't know what analytics you look at, because we didn't have them back then, but now they rely on analytics. But I'm sure analytics would have said, kick the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
So I was gonna do it. And that game, Bill, was 22 below, 30 below. It was cold.
Yeah.
And they had the heat benches, but they had the little slots in the benches where you could put your hands there and warm your hands, but you had the slots at the bottom. You open the slots with your heels. That was a bad design, because it wasn't my heel that was cold, it was my toes that was cold. So I had to turn around and put my feet in the slots. So now my back is to the field. And all these guys, they're standing up on the bench. People laugh at this. We were already pre-planning the party we was about to have when Cockcroft kicked this field goal. And we was trying to decide what bar we was going to celebrate. And in the middle of me having that conversation, everybody had this look on their face like, made me turn. And when I turned and looked, Sight was dropping back to pass. And I'm telling you, in unison, we all said, don't throw that ball. And he threw it.
And it was the guy that caught the ball. He hadn't caught nothing on like that guy.
I didn't know about the Raiders. Mike Davis. ended up being a teammate of mine with the Raiders.
Yeah.
So we're out 7-on-7. This is linebackers and defensive backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. They're going against each other. And Mike Davis, literally, he could not catch the ball. And I saw him drop about 3 or 4 balls on fine. I just had to know. I stopped practice. I say, is this the Mike Davis that intercepted the ball on us and 30 below? And they say, yeah. I said, it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
He threw it at the right guy. That's the only thing he did right, but he should have been throwing it at all.
Yeah, because see, as I was saying before, Greg stepped in and gave his version, because Sam had called me over beside him. And he actually called a running play. And so on my way out to the field, because Brian had come on too, he came up and I heard him call Brian, and they came back, they got their heads and started talking. And as I was going out there, I stopped and I was listening. They had changed the play from a running play to a passing play. I couldn't believe it. So I go out on the field, and here it is, I'm blocking this guy, and Brian goes back to throw the pass. I couldn't see Ozzie, and I know Brian couldn't see Ozzie. Somebody should have had a souvenir ball. In that situation, you don't throw a ball in a location, in an area where a guy is supposed to be not crucial like that.
Right.
You throw that ball only if you see it. So that ball should be good. And then I could not believe it. And so when I came to, when we came to the sideline, we had a couple of teammates that didn't like it either. One of them was Lyle Alexander.
A lot of them didn't like what happened. It resulted in 3 guys getting traded. Lyle and the linebacker.
Bob Goldie. No, good.
Yeah, Don Good.
Yeah, Don Good. But I could not believe it. And I'm saying, what happened here? What happened between the time that I was going out there and coming over here, and all we had to do, as Greg said, yes, Karkoff had missed 2. All you had to do is run the ball right in the middle of the field.
No, even if you wanted to go drop back and pass the ball, like he said, drop back and pass. If you catch them when they fans down,
right.
You catch them when they fans down. But if they're not,
you throw it ball in the
give
field.
somebody else over there.
Yeah. But the president, as Greg said, all we had to do is run the ball right in the middle of the goal and let Don Cochran kick it. We had missed 2. One was back about 22, 23 yards, or 30 yards.
The wind was bad.
It was bad weather stuff. But this is a chip shot. All you do is just swing his leg. Because we were right about the
13 yards.
Yeah. All you have to do is swing his leg, and that ball gonna go through and hit it. So it was just one of those things. You talk about you have this high, and they said.
How many years ago was that?
Oh.
See, Cleo still pissed off.
That's a play that, my point is, that's a play that you'll never forget. Because there was an opportunity, and we were going to go to the Super Bowl, that would have been more of a way that we possibly could have done. Because what actually happened, we would have won that game, and we would have had to have played Philadelphia. And we beat the devil out of Philadelphia earlier part of the year.
Well, the problem that I have with it is that we should have beat the Raiders, and the Raiders went to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And we were better than the Raiders. So
right.
There wasn't no question we would have got, and we would have had home field all the way through. The Raiders went on the road as a wild card and got to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is, so this is going to be the Browns play Saturday. Hopefully, good thing they got the 4:00 game because then it's not on that peacock where everybody can't see it.
Right.
But so everybody, the world's going to get to see the Browns play their first playoff game in long time. Well, the other one didn't count. It was COVID. COVID didn't count.
Okay, right.
No fans. I mean, there's something to be said about showing up. Well, if you ain't showing up with the fans and hostile environments, that's football.
Right.
There's anybody can play when there's nobody there. It's like a practice.
There's a lot of times I've gone down there And I said, I'm glad I'm not visiting the whole thing. Because
So-
they do get volatile.
So obviously, they're going to be playing on Saturday, and then, if the Browns win, hopefully, if you guys are free,
Yeah.
we can have a Monday, either we started a little late today. Next week, we can have a Victory Monday playoff push where we invite some more Browns Browns former players here and extend our show. And also, if they lose, we'll have a little powwow, and Q&A. The Browns are hot right now. They're so hot. I think that it's good to bring back the real cardiac kids and let people know history, because a lot of as you grow older and older, and there's all these new generations, they don't know nothing about the cardiac kids.
Well, one thing that not as a fan, but as a player,
You watch a lot of games?
I watch a lot of games, and but as when we played, we didn't feel that pressure that the fans felt. We just had an enormous amount of confidence in ourselves, and it wasn't more or less if we were going to win the game. It was more of a question of who was going to make the play for us to win the game.
So do you find yourself sitting in the chair and getting just as intense as now?
Well, not just the fans though. I remember the Kansas City. With the Kansas City, it was I'm trying to think of the USC coach. There's a new team came in Florida.
The US.
No. It was
Oh.
Brown. It was the one of the new teams. I'll think of it in a minute. He was a USC head coach. Came into the league. It was their first. It was a Florida team, and in fact, they haven't won no games. And I got hurt that game. Remember, I thought I wasn't gonna play. I was supposed to not play, but they packed my stuff. I should have got suspicious then. They shipped my stuff. They told me I wasn't gonna play.
It was USC coach that had been there for a long period of time. I forgot his name.
This is what happened when you
He
get
was a
old.
legend. Yeah, he was a legend with
Tampa Bay,
Huh?
No, he was the head coach for USC for a long time. But anyway, when
He was with the Rams too.
No, but what I was going to say was that in that game, I wasn't going to play. Tampa Bay Buccaneers is who we would play. He was the head coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think was it far? No, it was Retigliano, but I ended up playing in that game, and in the game toward the end, it was the same thing. We had the last possession. We had to score a touchdown to come back. And I remember I ran a pass play. And DB jumped up, he broke the ball up, and he gets up, he said, ain't gonna be none of that cardiac kid shit today. Let me know it's even on the defense.
Yeah.
They worried about it, right? So I get up, I said, man, you ain't gotta point your finger in my face to talk to me. And so he pointed his finger again, and I hit his finger, he hit my, and then we got into it. So I get thrown out. We both get thrown out of the game. They put a rookie in, and Reggie beat him on the next play for a touchdown, and we come back and we win the game. So I'm leaving the field, and I know I'm gonna get fined because I got thrown out of the game for unsportsmanlike conduct. So I go to Sam and tell Sam, I said, Sam, I really appreciate the Browns taking
John
care of
McKay was the coach.
John McKay, right?
John McKay.
I really appreciate the Browns taking care of my fine. He said, what? I said, yeah. I need y'all to take care of my fine. He said, why would we take care of your fine? I said, Coach, I sit in the meetings. I know what the game plan say. Now, I knew it was a rookie backing up the veteran. If I could get the veteran out of the game, then they had to go with a rookie, and we could beat the rookie for the touchdown. Ain't that what happened, Coach?
That's good.
He said, that's a good one, but you pay your own fine.
Wow, that's good. So, you know, and speaking of which, a lot of people actually, this is really, you know, this show, if we do it on a weekly basis for a little while, people really don't know who Greg Pruitt is.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you have a career all the way, and we'll get into this next show. So this show here, we'll come here to an end here shortly, but next show, we're going to get into who Greg Pruitt is. All the way back from when you played college football. You know, Greg shared with me he should have been a Heisman winner that year. We'll get into that.
Twice.
We'll get into that. But, you know, Greg has a career that should have, could have, you know, been a lot better with, you know, and that comes with politics.
More opportunity.
And politics.
Yeah.
And then Cleo had a little politician where, you know, politics got a, you know, and also a little injury, you know. Well, you know,
if they didn't know Greg, they surely don't know.
Well, they know that, you know,
But
I know, and they're going to learn to know that Cleo could have helped Greg get that 1,000-yard season that one year. Remember the year that 1 year that you got injured and got ran over, and there was his season.
Oh, it's coming to Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have some questions now.
Yeah, we got some questions.
Okay, cool. We got questions. Sorry. All right. We're gonna take a few questions, and then we're going to. This is just a quick preview for next week, and so we're going to go big with this event. So this is just a quick little, you know, tidbit. We started late. I apologize, but we're gonna take a few questions now, and then next week you guys can start emailing your questions to us early. We get it ready. Go ahead, Matt.
All right. Question for each of you. Dustin wants to know, what's your most memorable moment in Cleveland?
My most memorable moment in Cleveland was against the Kansas City Chiefs. It was the first year I went over 1,000 yards.
Okay.
To me, as a running back, what separates you from the rest of the running backs is a rush for 1,000 yards. And I was having a pretty good season, and I was getting close. And I very confident I was going to get 1,000 yards, but I had 3 games left, and I needed like 200 yards, 200 some yards left. But the one game was at home. The other 2 were on the road. And I wanted to get 1,000 yards, but I wanted to get 1,000 yards downtown Cleveland in front of the Cleveland fans. And we played Kansas City, and I ended up getting 215 yards and go over 1,000 yards. And the ovation that I got was so overwhelming to me that I had a chance to go get more yards, but I forgot. I was just taken in by the appreciation and the cheers that the fans shared with me.
All right.
you know that same game, I remember it very well too, because that's the year I had just came from Kansas City.
Okay.
And I wanted to show them that they had made a mistake with me.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't, I wasn't going to be Greg out, and I wasn't going to be Larry Poole out. But I also knew the defense. I knew all the different plays. I knew what they did, when I was killing them on the special team and everything of that nature. But, just to be there to see that actually happen. And I don't know if Greg knew it, but I told him a little bit about the defensive guy, the little tendency, but he already learned. He gains good stuff on it from that standpoint. But he wound up getting that 200 some odd yards from that standpoint. But the most memorable game that I had, it was was one that I got my first 100 yards with the Browns. With Greg blocking.
He was better blocker than me. I couldn't block and all that. I went to Oklahoma. They run the wishbone. You know what that means, right? Run, run, run. And when you ain't running in the wishbone, you blocking.
Hey, so if I could take this time before another question. So this is what we got. We got 16 by 20s that are signed. Can you see it real good on there?
Go back.
They're signed by Cleo and Greg. Okay, and this is the Tearaway Tandem.
We need to tell the story about that.
Well, we'll tell the story in 1 second, but I just want to let you know, we can purchase these $40, 16 by 20s. All the proceeds go to the two gentlemen up there. Okay, so if you could buy these, claim these out, we will ship them to you. Also, if you're live and you're watching this on a rerun, you could buy these and purchase them at any time, and the proceeds benefit both of these former players. So, you know, as in life, you guys didn't make the same these big contracts these guys now make.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
We have charity that we.
yeah, for sure. But this is my way
Right.
of my group saying, hey, buy these for these two gentlemen.
Right.
But you know, so back to your Q&A real quick.
What they need to know real quick.
Yeah,
about
why don't you tell them about the Tearaway Table?
What they need to know about this is the only place that you get these steroids.
That's right, only ones.
This is the only place, because this is the very first year that this picture has actually come out between Greg and I. We're the only two tandem backfield in the NFL that wore the Tearaway jerseys during that time. So, you know, it's one of the things that we were proud of, excited about it. But the thing about it, the little story behind it too, is why these Tearaway jerseys were famous back during that time. But we grew to hate the Tearaway jersey, but we wore because what different teams would have the tendency of doing is tearing our jerseys, and then we took
To get us out the game.
When they tear our jersey, they got us out the game.
So, one quick story that Cleo shared with me, Greg, that the other teams like to tear his jersey more than yours. They wanted Mike Pruitt to get in there on the field. How true is that story?
We didn't know, but they did it. They would just like we would get prepared, but then we learn from watching film. We learn tendencies and down in situations. What they like to do on 3rd and long, or 3rd and short, or 2nd and long, or 1st down. All that are in the meeting. So we knew they do a lot about it. So when there was a situation that came up that they like to run a certain play, and maybe that certain play was a hand the ball to me, or it was a situation where that certain play was hand the ball off to Cleo.
He didn't get the ball.
He got the ball, but what used to make me mad about it is that just like a helmet to the head is a personal penalty. It just walking up tearing your jersey for no reason should be a personal penalty. But what they did was made us lead the game because we were breaking the rule. Couldn't be out there with a torn jersey. So he ended up like Indianapolis 500, like they come in and change tires. We used to do that with jerseys. Wow. And used to run through a whole lot of jerseys. So,
but the thing that to your point is that, and I learned this from your peers. And there was a guy that was a linebacker for the Houston Oilers, and they said in their playbook, they had a playbook. They said, do not, because they had taken the position from me, gave them right. Said, do not hurt number 43 because number 30 is sitting on the bench and he's better.
Harder hitter, right?
No,
oh, I know. I know what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, I was finishing the story about the Buffalo Bills, which is his favorite game because it was the first game I had to show him that I could block. And so as a result of my exhibition of my blocking, Cleo ended up out-rushing O.J. Simpson that day.
Nice. That's pretty cool. That's a good story.
Yeah, you saw it in the scrapbook I had. Yep. It had a big headline, "He out juiced."
Yeah, he did out juiced. Yep, that's pretty cool. You got another question?
Yep, another question for you guys. Did you have somebody that gave you your welcome to the NFL moment, whether it be like somebody gave you a big blow or something?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got when I was a rookie, I was kickoff punt return. Okay, so you do all this confident, college player, all that. You do all that in front of the mic. Then we talked about them butterflies earlier. Butterflies your nerves before a game, but that was my first pro game. And we got there, we warmed up, we did all of that, we flipped the coin, and I'm in my head trying to go do in my head about everything that I need to know or that I need to double check or whatever. So we win the toss. So when we win the toss, we go to the sideline, and it dawned on me, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. So when I go to the sideline, we're gonna call right return or left return, depending on what return, who gets the ball. So I'm saying I'm on the left side. Please kick it right, because I'm not ready. So they kick the ball left. I get the ball, and I'm running a right return is what they call. And I start out right trying to go to the wall. I look up and I see this big, huge hole open up in the middle. And I leave my blocking and I hit that hole, and somebody hit me that I didn't see. And you can hear the crowd go, oh, right there. So when I got up, the guy that hit me said, welcome to the NFL. So I jogged off not knowing that's the way it was going to be. I didn't know. I didn't like it.
In my case, what actually happened, because I was a rookie at Kansas City. And when you're in college, there are certain things you do different than you do with pro football. And it just so happened the person who gave me the welcome call was a linebacker who had graduated out of the same college I had. And so I was running a pass play across the middle, and had a shoulder pads on, and no pass stuff down the bottom. So as I was going across the field to catch the ball, he came and he lit me up. And then just totally, hit my helmet and everything, all kinds of ways. And all the guys on the team started laughing and said, Cleo, that's just your homeboy welcoming you to the NFL.
So I got a question to ask you, Greg. So, there's this famous image of Cleo and Jack Lambert. Were you on the field when he put Jack Lambert on the ground? After he went on the ground, were you on the field that day with him whenever him and Jack Lambert had their little?
Well, I know they had something. Cleo and Jack didn't get along, so I used to, edge that on and try to get him all juiced up. But Lambert said this or Lambert said that, or I'll look at a picture and I'll give my interpretation of the picture that I knew was gonna piss him off. And so they used to have a play where when we pulled the guard, Lambert would shoot the gap, blow up the play. So they stopped that because our judgment was when the guard pulled, the fullback closed that door back. And we run that play a couple times. Lambert and then Cleo lit him up a couple times. I think Lambert didn't want us to run that play no more.
But he was on the field. But what he's referring to is the play when I was running the ball and Lambert tackled me, and then he pushed my head down in the dirt.
Right.
As a matter of fact, that was the play that when he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they showed that picture, but they didn't show the other thing because what actually happens at that fullback position, I could be just like a guided missile. I can leave a play and I can go hunt him up. And so what actually happened, I would leave those plays sometimes, once I had done my job of block work, and I go hunt up Jack Lambert and I knock his source. And it just so happened that once I started doing that, the very next time that Jack Lambert tackled me, he reached his hand down and tried to help me.
So the thing about, in closing here, we're talking about the Steelers, Can you believe the Steelers made the playoffs? Our division.
We're always told, my block, we're always told, keep everything in your control. Don't get in a situation where something got to happen that's in somebody else's control, because it never works out. Nope. Did this.
So with one more story, we're in a closing story, being that the both Browns and Steelers are both in the playoffs. Right. I hope they get to play somehow and see each other. At the very end, it would be at home. If
it ends up that way, they do have to come up.
Yeah, they'd be at home.
Yeah.
But it would be really cool. I remember a story that you'd share with me about a famous play that took place by Turkey Jones and Terry Bradshaw. In closing, in our last story, Greg, I'm gonna let Greg tell the story about Turkey Jones and Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, well, there's a portrait of Turkey Jones slamming Bradshaw on his head. I mean, he takes him out. He's out. We didn't, at first, we thought he broke his neck. But in the locker room, when we go in, and the guys show, like we grant and all that, but then we go to the locker room, guys high five and all of that. And then Turkey Jones was one of the guys I used to run around with. And so Turkey came over, he was getting high five, and when he got to me, and I didn't give him a high five. He said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Turkey, I'm worried, man." He said, "What you worried about?" I said, "Man, you took this a little further than football." He said, "What?" I said, man, you look at that manslaughter if we die." He said, "What?" I said, "Turkey, if I was you, I would go over there and pretend that I care whether he's hurt or not, and just in case he died, and then you can get past that." He said, "For real?" I said, "Yeah, I'm telling you, man, go do it." So he goes, so he started to change. I said, "You ain't got time to change your clothes. You need to get over that now." So he leaves, comes back about 15, 20 minutes, and he comes in, I said, "You all right?" He said, "Yeah, he all right." I said, "Damn, I thought you hit it harder than that."
So, in closing, guys, that gives you a little bit of a locker room, atmosphere, the stories that Greg and Cleo shares. This is a way to see a little bit behind the scenes, but with the feel of you guys see the pictures, you put it all together, so, and like I said, in closing, next week, we're going to have a great show. We're going to have this room all decked out, Browns.
All right.
Hopefully it's a Browns victory.
Yes.
And here again, guys, please claim these out, give them away as gifts. Hang it up in your man cave, but this is the tearaway tandem, pictures that we're exclusively selling here. They've already been signed by Greg and Cleo. And next week we're going to have merchandise that you can also buy off of the screen and get it personalized to a certain fan or a certain saying. This week, well, like I said, we're running a little bit behind and we're trying to put everything together. But next week you'll be able to watch them sign, live on the screen, and you'll buy it and we'll mail it right out to your loved ones. And anything else, Matt, from you?
Nope, we're just stay tuned for afterwards.
Give us a couple minutes to reset.
Yeah, give us a couple minutes for the auction. So next week we'll have a sports auction. And then, you guys can stay and watch how we're selling some of the Browns merchandise. Hopefully it's
It's Celebrate Monday, right?
Celebrate Monday. That's the key. So I have to ask you one question.
Yeah.
So you say your hometown's Houston.
Yes.
Are we rooting for the Browns or are we rooting for Houston?
I live in Cleveland.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Second of all, if I wanted to go to the game and I need to buy 8 tickets, is that something that you might be able to make happen for me?
Well, it has happened so long, I have to check them.
So if you check some numbers, I honestly potentially wouldn't mind going to that game.
Yeah, all right.
I've never been to a playoff game that's in the new Browns era.
Right.
I remember going to my dad took me up. I was at the coldest game,
Right.
that game in Cleveland against the Vikings.
I haven't been to a Houston game in so long. Do they play inside or outside?
Inside.
So is it just like, I know when I played, it used to be the Astrodome.
Yep.
It's not that anymore, it's a new
It's
stadium.
a new stadium, but it's indoors.
Right.
So until next time, guys, we want to thank everybody for tuning in, and please replay this show. Share it out to all your friends so they can get a vibe of what's going on over here at Prime Time and 5-star and first All-Star Sports. We're doing signings with Browns players. We have a lot of stuff that's going to be taking place. So make sure you guys follow us on social media. Until next week, we appreciate y'all, and
Go Browns.
go Browns.
What I see.